Hey guys, Coach Hunter here, coming at you today with Alicia helping me out. Today's topic is going to be fundamentals of holding. So holding is holding targets for your partner, okay? It's really, really important and fundamental to striking. I think that there are gyms that don't really use a lot of mitt holding except as a trainer. So it's only coaches and trainers who hold mitts. I personally came up very differently holding mitts for my partner all the time. I do think that it's a mistake to avoid it. I think it's really helpful, okay? I think it helps you become a better striker yourself, and I think it helps you to be a very valuable training partner. Because if you end up being a good holder, you're at gold, right? If everyone is your striker, you know that the person who's really good at holding, that's the person you want to work with, right? That's the person that everyone's trying to hook up with. So, make yourself valuable to your training partners, and it's going to be a good time, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. So, when it comes to holding, guys, it's really important to understand a couple of key concepts. The first is that you are in charge, okay? So when I'm holding in general, unless there's a specific drill where we're reacting to the hitter, as the holder, you're kind of leading the action, okay? So to that end, let's talk about waltzing and footwork, okay? So just like we talked about in the last video, my partner should be just outside of my range when they start, okay? Unless the goal is to start inside the pocket or in range, and we're in a clinch or something, we always want to be starting just outside of range, okay? So when I am holding, I'm leading, which means that if I move, my partner's going to follow me. So I move forward, they move back, okay? And that's part of the drill. Once again, they're specifics. I move back, they move forward. To my right, their left, and left to right, okay? So they're just going to track me. If I pivot, they're going to turn to face me, okay? So moving around, making sure my partner stays put, is right in front of me, has good spacing, okay? Doesn't want to develop big gaps. There we go. Doesn't want to move, let me get too close, okay? And next thing I'm gonna think about, next key concept is holding my cards to the vest, okay? Triggering my partner. So you see new holders, often they're kind of like this. They're just like holding these targets and they're like, they just don't know what to do, and it's unclear when they're supposed to hit, right? So instead, I'm gonna hold my gloves in like I'm in boxing, okay? It's also a good time to make sure I'm using my good footwork. I'm not lazy, I'm not walking around here, holding targets, kind of sloppy. Okay, I'm in my stance, in my position, okay? When I want my partner to hit, I'm gonna hold. One, okay? One. Right, and you also notice I'm calling out the number, okay? You could also say jab, cross, whatever, but usually when I'm holding, I'm using the numbering system because it's a little faster, okay? That's why we have it. You also notice a couple things. I'm not holding two targets out here, okay? Y'all call this a two-headed monster, okay? It means, because this is like two people, right? If you hold a 1-2 out here, that's very different targets, okay? It doesn't really make a lot of sense. So instead, I'm holding my targets in nice and close. This helps my partner by giving them one target to hit, essentially. And it also helps me because I'm protecting my elbows and my shoulders. Arms out here, when it gets hit, it's going to get cranked back, and that's going to be elbow injury, shoulder injury over time. So it's really important that I'm holding in nice and tight. My elbows are kind of framed against my rib cage, and my hands are basically on center line. This also helps me because it primes my defense, right? So if you hit me in the face, right? Again, that's my defense. I'm parrying. We haven't talked about that yet in the fundamentals, or I can even catch, right? Just like when I'm holding. So that's my defense there. So I'm priming my defense, okay? So let's go through holding for each individual strike. We already talked about our striking angles, so let's go through that now. So we hold for the one. If we're in the same stance, it's also important to monitor that, right? It gets complicated if you're opposite stances. But if we're in the same stance, it's my hand that would hit, so my one is my left. I'm gonna hold my left for the one, straight out. You also notice I'm kind of giving a little pat back, okay? I'm not gonna stuff my partner and reach out way far, okay, and stuff their punch. It's gonna be really bad for them, okay? It's also teaching them the wrong range. But I'm holding my target and just a little pat back into the, you can see here it's a solid strike, okay? It's also protecting my elbow and shoulder, okay, by not being floppy. So, that's our one. For a two, straight out once again. Also notice I'm holding close to my face. It's a little scary at first because the punch is kind of coming at me, but it's also important to know that my glove is in front of my face. So even if they kind of get off target, I'm protecting myself. If I'm holding over here, if she misses, she can hit me in the face because there's nothing in the way. Okay, so you'll get hit more if you're holding poorly out here. Okay, potentially, right? And for the hooks, I'm holding my palm facing sideways. I'm gonna bring it to center line, right there, okay? Unless I'm holding for a body hook, don't hold down here. I see this a lot. This is body level, okay? So if I'm holding for a body hook, you could hold down here, right? But I like to hold right in front of my face, okay? Once again, just bring it to center line for the hook. Okay, that's our 3. And 4, same thing, just on the other side. Okay, uppercuts, I'm gonna hold right underneath my chin, okay? I'm not gonna hold out here. It's a common thing when people start sparring, they're throwing uppercuts, they're throwing them short because they're used to hitting that range when their holders like finding the hands out here, okay? And there's also my defense. If she tries to hit my chin with the uppercut, my defense, one of them, is to catch with my hand, okay? Which is exactly how we're gonna hold. So for the 5, that's the knee uppercut, right there. And for the 6, right there. Okay, so that's our basic striking angles to punches. So I'm just gonna trick call for the punches with a bit of movement, just like you would when we're striking in training here. Okay, so moving around. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. 6 and 6. Nice. So guys, basic punching. Now for the kicks, things are a bit different to some degree. Okay, now it depends on how exactly we're holding, what the drill is, and where we're targeting. Okay, so let's kind of run into that a little bit. So when it comes to the push kicks, 7 and 8, okay, often I just eat those. Okay, that's how I usually recommend you do it. Because the defenses for these things make it more difficult and more dangerous for my partner. So she works her lead push kick. I'm just gonna tighten my breathe out a little bit. You're gonna be making that hissing sound. That's just tightening everything up and breathing out, okay? And you know, you can absorb a really hard shot to the body if you're expecting it, if you're braced for it. If you're loose and you have a belly full of air, that's when it's gonna suck, okay? So just go ahead. Same thing for the rear side push kick. So it's good training for you to absorb body shots as well as give you a good realistic target for your partner. Now, if you're really sensitive, you're new, you don't wanna get hit, maybe your partner is hitting too hard, you can cover your body with your gloves, okay? Make a pad. But I don't recommend getting into that habit because obviously it's a terrible defense. We don't want to put our hands down like that, okay? Now, in reality, to defend that strike, I block with my elbow, but often you'll catch their foot or toes with your elbow, which is fine in a fight. I mean, that's great for me, but really mean for your partner. So be careful about dropping your elbows into your partner's feet, okay? So that's like a real defense there, but let's not do it. You can also parry and things like that, but unless that's part of the drill, I usually avoid it when I'm holding. I'm just gonna eat that shot. So the round kicks, now if they're going to my legs, right? I'm usually gonna just kind of eat that, okay? Unless we're checking, and if you have shin guards, you can check. You know, that's fine if you wanna practice your checking, okay? But usually when I'm holding, I'm just gonna like let them touch my legs. Now it's up to your partner not to kill you with the power on that. When it comes to the body, I'm usually not gonna eat that. I'm gonna practice my 2-arm block. Once again, we're practicing our defenses. So those either a 9 or a 10 to my body. Boom, I'm blocking there, okay? Covering and 2-arm blocking across. So I'm getting practice on my defense. So we're moving around, 9 and 10. 7 and 8. 10, 9, 9, 1, 1, 10, 2, 9. So guys, holding is super important and it's hard. I think holding is ultimately harder than hitting because you have to anticipate your partner's movement, you have to know where their shots are coming, and you have to do all this kind of stuff dynamically. So, but that said, I think it's super important, super helpful. It'll make you a better striker if you master this, or at least make the attempt. So guys, like this video if you like it, you thought it was good, subscribe to our channel to see all of our content, and as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you on the mats. Go.